Shalom, shalom. All right, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And yeah, as you can see in the video, I titled it, "So You Fell for Apostle Tahar'S Trick." And in this video, I'm not gonna, I mean, the apostles already did videos covering the main point of what happened, explaining what actually happened and what was the purpose of Apostle Tahar putting up the video and all of that. And actually, as I was meditating, this morning, that's when the lesson came to me, which was that you can't take, everything at face value. Okay. Ultimately, the point is, for this right here, the video that Apostle Tahar put up, 3 Edomite women kiss the apostles of GMS feet. Let me just click on that real quick. Right? And want to be our slaves now. This is something that you shouldn't, this is like, if you see something like this, right? The first thought in your mind shouldn't be, oh, shoot, the apostles got their feet. I was watching the video that the brother Ariyah, Chayel, he did. All right. And he was mentioning how, even when he saw it, he was like, that's like the first thing in your mind is, which is you not jumping to conclusions right away, and I'm going to go into a few precepts on that and explain why it's so important that you examine the whole matter first. Because now I didn't even see all of this. I was busy. So when I got home, I saw Apostle Gabar had done a video going into, he said it's a damn shame. So I'm like, oh, what was going on? So I watched that, and then that's how I found out about this video here. I came here, I said, oh wow, I didn't even get notifications on this. But the point is that the Lord had this take place. It's very important that you understand that this is a good prime example as to why you don't just take things at face value. Okay. Now, this was, based on the titling of a video, but there's other situations that could arise similar to this that'll cause people to be deceived and cause them to go a complete opposite direction because they take things at face value. That's something that Jake, does a lot. Sometimes you gotta be able to be at the point where you can stop and analyze things. Okay, you have to be analytical. You got to think in your head. All right, hold on a second. I see the title of the video. All right, that's one thing. But when first of all, the apostles don't even push that energy. Right? They don't push that vibe. They don't push that energy. So that's number one. Number two, the camp video of the apostles is up. So if this happened, if you were watching it, or even if you didn't, you could go back and look through it and see where did it happen. Because in the video, the Apostle Tahar says himself, he said, yep. So he said, yep. So they came up and they kissed our feet, they kissed mine, they kissed, Apostle Gabar. And he said Elder Sakura was recording in awe. So if he was recording in awe, then that means that it should be on the camp stream video. So before you even say, oh, that's crazy, or oh, the apostles did that, or oh, the apostles are falling off, you should say, let me go see where this actually is. Is this actually is this actually true? Because this sounds a little unusual. That's when your cranes, your brains, your chains, they start cranking. This sounds a little unusual. Let me see what more information comes from this. I'm sure if this actually happened, something more, another video will follow up. Maybe Apostle Gabar will do a video on it. Maybe Apostle Ramlab will do a video on it. I was watching the other Apostle Tahar'S video, and yeah, he mentioned something that happened at camp, and then he might go into it a bit, so you may get a bit more information. Because with time comes information, right? But if you just jump on it, oh, the title, shit, oh, this is crazy. You already drawing all these different conclusions. Now, like I said, I was watching the video that was done by the brother Ariaka Yal, and I know the brother Gabar Dama also did one too, but he played within Aria's video. He played a video of another individual. I think he's a young individual, and he basically in that video, that individual is basically like, oh yeah, this didn't sound right to me. It sounded off. The apostles are falling off. That kind of thing. I read the comment section. He said he apologized and all that. But the point is that if you jump based off of what you see instead of what you know, instead of taking the time to analyze and to prove and to really make sure that whatever you're seeing is correct, especially if it doesn't sound right off the top, then you'll fall prey to situations like this. And in the times that we're living in, there's going to be heavy deception coming from everywhere. Okay. Now, if you've been, watching the videos and staying, in the loop, that this isn't something that the apostles would do. Right. So you would think, nah, I don't, Now, one scenario I thought of, very, very hypothetical, is that Esau has technology. And with Esau's technology, he's able to manipulate video, he's able to manipulate audio. He can make it look like something happened when it didn't happen. He can mimic your voice and sound just like you. So in a very hypothetical scenario, what would you do if Esau went and said, you know what, he took down all of our channels and then he just released a video. Nobody knows from where it was released from, but in the video you hear a voice that sounds like Apostle Tahar's voice. And in the audio, let me put it like that. In the audio, you hear Apostle Tahar saying something, but you're like, nah, that doesn't sound right. Are you just gonna jump at it? Because, like I said, in this hypothetical scenario, that could be Esau, manipulating whatever it is. Are you just gonna jump and say, oh, it sounds like Apostle Tahar? That's his voice. So shit, wow, that's crazy. Oh, he's going off. Or, oh wow, let me follow that advice even if it's off. Or no, there's a reason that you learn and you grow in the truth, because when you grow to a certain point, there's certain things that shouldn't throw you off. And in addition to that, this ain't the first time Apostle Tahar done titled a video, in a manner like this before. So it really shouldn't be a surprise. I remember not too long ago, he titled the video in a way, I think it was something along the lines of like Edomites can be saved or Edomites can be delivered, right? Off the top, when you see that, you're like, all right, this is either what somebody else said, or it's just a title to get people to come and click on the video. But when you click on it, it's likely you're going to get more information on it. But then you had people on the comment board like, oh my gosh, Apostle, please tell me that this isn't true, that you don't actually believe this, But that's why you have to go based off what you know. And this is a very important lesson, because when we get into that time when things are very hectic and chaotic, you can't judge just based off of what you see. You have to analyze things. And what do you know? What makes sense? This doesn't add up. That's why the scriptures say, let's get into a few of these. All right. Let's see. Let me actually start off with the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 5, verse 7. Okay? Because we're in the time where you need to be able to make proper decisions, and you need to be able to know how to make decisions. All right? This is 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 7. It says, "For we walk by faith, not by sight." Okay. And that, like I said, from this, there's a different, the Spirit hit me with a with another point of edification that could come out of it, which is not taking things at face value, analyzing, hearing and seeing what's what's actually going on before you draw those conclusions, right? So you got to walk by faith, not by sight. So like I said, in a situation where something is going down and you're seeing one thing, which your eyes can there's the saying, things aren't always what they seem like, right? It's not what it looks like. Well, that saying wouldn't come about if there wasn't any basis for it. So things aren't always what they look like. When you get to the point where all hell is breaking loose, there's a lot of confusion going on. You can't just go off of what you see. You have to go off of faith. All right? You have to be able to stop, pause, think, and then utilize. You can start using process of elimination. No, this doesn't add. No, this doesn't make sense. No. Too many red flags going on here. Let me get some more information on this. Because this just came out of. I ain't just gonna believe this just because I saw it. I need more information. And similarly, when we read in the scriptures, that's what the Church of Berea did when it came to the scriptures, the understanding of it. Right? They went and searched the scriptures whether it was so. Now, I mentioned this before, but that takes a lot of diligence, because in the ancient world, it wasn't like today you have book, chapter, verse. It's in the book of 2 Corinthians, the 5th chapter and the 3rd verse. Oh, okay, cool. Let me type that in and find it. Back then you had scrolls. So if that's why you didn't hear in the New Testament, like the prophet said in Psalm 149 in this verse. No, you'll hear as saith the prophet, or as Isaiah said, or well did Isaiah prophesy of you people. So now, if you want to know if what the individual is saying was actually written or said by that prophet, guess what? You got to go and read the whole scroll until you find out that point in there. So if the Apostle Paul quote says something, according to the book of this, right, the writings of the prophet, this is what's going on in here. Guess what? In order for you to know whether that's true or not, you got to now go read that scroll. You got to go read all them writings to find out where was it said. So that takes a lot of diligence. But at the end of that, you can draw a more definitive conclusion that, you know what? I've seen it for myself. I've seen the proof. I understand what's going on. All right, let's go from here. But there's a very important lesson that can be taken from this that happened, which is you can't just jump at everything and just take things at face value. Oh, I saw it. It looked right. It looked like it, but so I just jumped on it. Well, where do you think that's going to end you up? Right. The scriptures talk about, matter of fact, once again, let's get a few more. So now I want to get the book of First. And I just wrote these down as they as they came to me, not in any particular order. Okay, but there's certain things that it's not it's not something that you can directly just teach. There's certain things that you have to be able to just like spiritual common sense. Spiritual common sense is something that should be applied in everything that you do. Okay, you gotta think in the spirit. Okay, what are the causes? What are the chances of something like this happening? And if something like this happened, why would something like this happen? And if something, you gotta think, use your head, ask questions. You gotta be able to use that, man. Okay, or else you find yourself just making hasty decisions, jumping at everything. Oh, that's dope. No, I saw that. Hey, it even goes into when you read certain articles or you come across certain information. And sometimes, you see information that may be geared towards prophecy, And because it's exciting, you're like, oh yeah, yeah, oh shoot, they said this, they said that. But you have to actually take the time and say, all right, let me cross-reference. Let me research. Let me validate that this information is true. Because sometimes if it sounds too good to be true, then it just might be. So you got to go and check. All right, the article said this, but is that really what it is? Is that really what it means? You know, yeah, you may see an article that says, man and wife get hauled off to isolation camp against their will. It's begun. They're coming for everybody. And then you may see that, but then you got to go and look at it, and you probably find out, okay, what happened was that there was a warrant set for specifically for that man and that woman, and the police came there, they tried to cooperate with them, and then they didn't want to cooperate, so they had to forcefully put them in the car and then take them to the camp. But then they were released 2 weeks after, and they came back and continued their regular life. See, then you have more context, because from the first article, the first title, you're thinking, oh shit, them troops are coming for everybody. They're finna round you up. But you got to go and dig and find out, no. What actually happened was this. Now, of course, is leading to that point, but it was this isolated event, and this is what happened in it, and now they're back to doing yada yada yada. Or else you out here prepared and shit, you know what I'm saying? Got your baseball bat standing behind the door, and ain't nobody coming. Not yet. This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 1. It says, be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Hamashiach. And what does that mean? That means that the Lord has set up certain men in order to show you the path, in order to guide you, in order to teach you. That's just the truth. Okay? You can't learn without a teacher. That's why teachers exist. With you know what I'm saying, if we just all got up and just knew whatever it is that we needed to know, there wouldn't be a need for teachers, right? So the Lord set up teachers and men with more experience over us, so that you can learn. Now, as the Apostle Paul says, be ye followers of me, even as I am also of Hamashiach. So we follow the elders and the apostles, we follow elder brothers and bishops, and we take heed and we listen and we learn from them. Why? Because we see that they're following Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. And one thing you got to be able to do is, it's not about, and the apostles tell you all the time, it's not about personalizing it to men, where it's like, oh, I follow the apostles just because they're the apostles. No, you follow them because they're leading you down the right path. Okay. Now, in a hypothetical situation, if there's an individual, and I always throw out hypothetical situations with just made up individuals, because whatever the scenario is, I'm not trying to use any real people or names in that. Nah, we deal with the hypotheticals. So if in the hypothetical situation you have one individual who learns from another individual, right, and then the individual they're learning from is going down the right path, teaching them the right things, and then at some point that individual who's teaching the other one falls off the path, what does the one who's learning have to do? At that point, you realize, were you following that individual because they were on the right path, they were leading you down the right path, or were you just following them just because you wanted to follow them? You had to follow them because they're on the right path, and if they continue on the right path, guess what? You know it. At some point, you start to find the path, and you keep on going. The Apostle Paul said, "Continue thou in the things which thou hast learned, knowing of whom thou hast learned them." Right? So be ye followers of me, even as I am of Hamashiach. Because the end goal is to get to Yahweh Shai, is salvation. If you're on the straight path, right, and here it is, the one in front of you, he takes one step this way, so you take one step this way, and it's helping both of you continue on the path, right? But guess what? If something happens and he falls off onto the fire or into the water, are you gonna say, "Oh, let me dive right in after him"? No, you got to continue on the path. Okay. Let's see what else I have in here. Move on to the book of Philippians. Because look, at the end of the day, um, this a lot of people don't realize that this is an actual life and death thing. You know, when by the time they realize that, it's when judgment starts to go out. Judgment from Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. And at that point, see, it's gonna be so intense, so scary, and there's gonna be no way to stop it at that point. When the Lord starts issuing out judgments, there's gonna be no way to stop it. There's no second chance. Oh Lord, please, I'm listening again. No. Because the fact that He has to step in means that time is over. All right, it's like the parable with the rich man and Lazarus, when the rich man said, "Oh Lord, at least send somebody, to my people so that they could take heed." And He said, "No, they already got the if I remember correctly, I think He said they already got the prophets, they got the word already. So if they're gonna get it, they're gonna get it then." So that's in essence, the Lord has us here, and so when it gets to the point where He brings out judgment, He ain't gonna say, "No, I'm not here to give you a last warning. I'm here because the warnings are over." What judgment comes after the warnings. So you can't wait till judgment comes and then try to ask the Lord to give you a last warning. He'll tell you had all the warnings that you can have. And the fact that judgment is going on now means that there are no more warnings. That's when fear jumps in. That's when people get afraid. And that's when they start to want to, take it seriously. But the problem with that is you had to have taken it seriously from the beginning. Because when you take it seriously, you do the things that you got to do the right way. Okay? This is the book of Philippians chapter 3, verse 17. It says, "Brethren, be followers together of me, and mark them which walk so as ye have us for an example." See? So you have an example. And what is that example based off? Like when you see examples, right, of, for example, you read about our ancient forefathers, right? You read about, the men of old. They are examples. Now, are they examples just because? No. Why is Moses an example? Why is Yahushua an example? Why are the men, King David, why is he an example? Not just because of him, but because of what he did, because of who he is, because of what he stands for. That's the example. That's what you get from it, right? You look at how they handle certain situations. What did they do when they were put in this situation? That's where you get the example from. In essence, their reputation, their actions, what they did, okay, and what they do. So when you come across certain situations, you can think back and say, Now, an example like this, if you look at, for example, all right, let's put it like this. Say Daniel, right? You had the prophet Daniel. You don't read about the prophet Daniel, and Lord, man of wisdom and all of that, right? That's good. If somebody came up to you and said, "Yo, I just found out, Daniel, he secretly ate pork, he secretly worshiped Baal," you're just gonna jump and say, "What?" Or if somebody shows you a passage, right? Somebody shows you a passage and it says, and the prophet Daniel snuck into the palace of Cyrus and and secretly devoured pork as he profaned himself and professed to still be a son of God. You're gonna see that and automatically, what? Daniel was going off. Oh my God, Daniel was going off. No. You're gonna see that and and immediately flags are gonna go up in your head. Why is that? Because from what you've already read about him, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. And what happens when you're solving an equation, when you're calculating something and something does not add up, right? Because you have an expected value and then you have what you're testing out your problem to see if it's going to give you that expected value, right? So if something doesn't add up, what do you do? Do you just say, "Oh, well, I guess the equation is wrong"? No. If something doesn't add up, you go back and recalculate because you something is not making sense here. So you got to go back and say, "Okay, hold on a second. Let me take a couple steps back and let me really look at this again. Maybe I missed something." You know, maybe there's something going on that I don't, maybe there's some information I don't have because this doesn't make sense. You know, this doesn't add up. Let me slow down. Let me analyze. Let me think about this for a bit. Maybe let me wait a bit. See? Maybe let me wait a bit and find out more information about this. And then oh, okay, this is what it is. See, so you go back into the scriptures, you're like, ain't nowhere in here where it says Daniel ate any pork. What the hell are you talking about? Where the hell is that from? Come to find out, this is a verse that was copied and pasted out of some I don't know, some left hand book somewhere. You know, the point is, don't just take things based off of what you see. Validate, okay? Prove it. You know, make sure it's concrete before you draw conclusions on it. There may be certain thoughts that may initially run to your mind, but you can't just jump off of that. You have to then validate it. If judges were to judge impulsively based on the first thing they heard or the first thing they saw, guess what? There would be unrighteous decrees going out left and right. Okay? A true judge doesn't just judge based off of the first thing he hears. He doesn't judge. What do judges do? Why do you think hearings take so long? Because they hear both sides and then they take time to think and analyze both sides and put the stories together and see, are there any holes in here? What makes sense here? What doesn't make sense? And ask questions and do all these things. And then they come to a conclusion based on all of that. And then they say, this one is guilty, this one is not. Or they might use, like King Solomon did, they might use a tactic to get more information before they make their conclusion. They may have something in mind, right? King Solomon might have said, in his mind, he might have thought, I think she might actually be the mother. But did he just say right off the bat, just because of what he heard, all right, give the baby to her? No, he wanted to. If that is like I said, if in his mind he had one already that he was looking at, then he brought out that experiment to confirm whether whoever he was thinking was it or not. You know, I'm just saying the examples for like an example, right? He might have thought something and he said, you know what, let me see if what I'm thinking is actually what it is. Let me test that theory. All right. Moving on. I got just a couple more. This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 4, verse 14. All right. Now, this is the book of Ephesians, chapter 4, verse 14. It says that we, matter of fact, all right. This is Ephesians 4 and 12. All right. And this is also a very important point because ultimately you got to understand why are you learning? Why are you in the truth? What, you know what I'm saying? What are you seeking? Are you seeking to grow? Are you seeking to be stable? You know? And over time, you should be able to make certain decisions for yourself. You should be able to analyze certain situations because the examples that you're given teach you these things. Right? So eventually, when you learn these things, you go and you put it into practice. That's the point. The point of being in the truth, of course, we have many reasons. We're all ultimately seeking salvation. But as you're in the truth and you're growing, there's certain things that you learn. You learn how to do, you learn how to discern, you learn how to ask questions, you learn, what the scriptures say about being slow to speak, and quick to hear. What the scriptures say about proving things, you learn these things. So there's certain things, right? Certain situations that arise that you won't fall right into. This is the book of Ephesians 4 and 12. It says, for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Hamashiach, till we all come in the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of God, unto a perfect man, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Hamashiach, that we henceforth be no more children tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine. And I'm not saying that, this video is not the video the apostle put up wasn't a doctrine. But the reason I'm bringing this precept out is to show you can't just get tossed to and fro by whatever you see. When you see something, watch it, think, wait for some more information, and then draw conclusions and then analyze. Because if something doesn't sound right, don't just sit there. Oh man, it don't sound right to me, but you know what? I'm going to jump on the video anyway. It says that we henceforth be no more children tossed to and fro. Because so if the next day a video went up that said the Edomites are Japhet, the the Japhet is the white man or whatever, you gonna jump on that? And then what if the next day another video went up that said, mermaids are real? You gonna jump on that? See, these are things that you gotta stop. Wait, hold on a second. Nah. Let me analyze this a bit. And I'm using this example, but I'm bringing out a point out of it, because if you are somebody that's impulsive with everything, you take everything as whatever you see, that is going to negatively affect you, especially in these times that we're coming into. You won't be able to make firm decisions because you're not analyzing everything you're given. Somebody throws out a little bit of bait and you bite it right away, you're going to fall for the trap. Okay? And that goes into, for example, say you all hell's breaking loose and you run into a certain situation. Somebody's telling you something. And everything in your mind is saying, nah, that doesn't add up. But just because they said it and you heard them say it, or because you saw them with I don't know, with whatever they were offering you in their hands, you just jumped at it instead of analyzing and thinking, wait, hold on a second. You giving me something that you need. We all in the same situation together, right? But you're offering me something that you need, something that you would kill for free. Why is that? That doesn't make sense. Nobody just ups and does that. Hey, an example is with the Vanessa. With the Vanessa, they came out, made it seem, no, we want to save your life, we care about you. That's when you stop and you think, wait a minute. You shoot us in the streets, you gun us down, you throw us in prisons, you know what I'm saying, you do all this vile shit to us, and then all of a sudden you just had this change of heart. You did a whole 180, and I'm supposed to just jump at it just because you said we want to save your life, we care about you, so go first? Something is not adding up. Then when you start asking those questions, it becomes clearer and clearer and clearer to you. So that's the point of it. You got to be able to just slow down, think before drawing conclusions, before making decisions, before judging things. Okay. And that's something that, hey, even myself, I found myself guilty of that at times. Sometimes you may see something and you may just get like inflamed, and sometimes that zeal will just, get you. Niggas, but but sometimes you gotta just calm down a bit, wait a little bit longer. You might get a little more information. Now you may be, you may have righteous zeal, right? But sometimes, you gotta think about, maybe it's not the right time to say that. Maybe it's not the right time to bring that up. Maybe I should say it a different way. Let me calm down and think about it. Maybe do I have to do, these are very important. And they may seem like little traits here and there, but it depends on the situation you're in. These little traits here and there can be a trait that saves your life or ends up having you get messed up. Okay, if you don't apply it. So as it says, Ephesians 4:14, that we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro, and carried about with every wind of doctrine, by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive. Like I said, I'm not applying this to, Apostle Tahar or the video or anything like that. Okay. The main point I really wanted to focus on in this verse was the first part about not being tossed to and fro. Meaning you see one thing here, you see one thing here, you see one thing here. You got to stop and say, whoa, wait a minute. All right. Wait a minute. Let me come here. 3 Edomite women. And really, this part should have really caught your attention, right? The second part, and want to be our slaves now. It's the now at the end. Okay? How many times does the Apostle says, right now, we're not blessed? And then he goes into the definition of the word blessed, right? Which is to have servants, to have slaves. And we ain't going. How many times have you heard it been said, we ain't going to do that right now? That's going to be in the kingdom. We can't do that right now. We're not gonna have them. So when you see and want to be our slaves now, at that point you should be, nah. This gotta be one of them one of them titles. Because and I mean he said it before. Sometimes you put a certain title and you click on the video and he'll tell you, see, I got you. Because Jake don't want, there's certain videos Jake won't click on, right? And it could be great content. But when you put a controversial title, or a title that's around that controversy, that that area, click, everybody clicks on it to come and see what's going on. So I got a couple more, and then Lord willing, I'll close it out. Hopefully the point is getting across. All right. Let's go to the book of the Apocrypha. Because we're in the time where you have when the scriptures talk about watching and being circumspect, it goes into looking around, knowing what's going on. But it also goes into being able to, okay, once you see what's going on, how do you receive that information? It's the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 14, verse 18. Now it says here, for the time is fled far away. And now Ezra, matter of fact, I'll start at 17. Let me just go up a bit, give us a little bit of context. All right. And the angel is telling Ezra basically that in the last days, things are going to be worse than they currently were during his time. Right. And one of the things that was said that would happen is 2nd Esdras 14 and 16, for yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen shall happen shall be done hereafter. For look how much the world shall be weaker through age. So much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein. For the time is fled far away, and leasing is hard at hand. And when you go into that word leasing, it goes into falsehood. For now hasteth the vision to come which thou hast seen. So falsehood is hard at hand. So if you find yourself jumping at everything, guess what? Say Esau did pull out some Project Bluebeam, Say Esau did stage a pseudo invasion and made it look as though Yahushua was coming back. Here's actually a good example, right? Now, I'm sure a lot of people would fall for it. A lot of people would look up, right? They would look at the skies. They would see chariots. They would see other chariots flying left and right. Or maybe the chariot just might be stationary. It might be just a huge chariot, and it might just be a hologram, right? And instantly, I'm sure you would have a lot of Israelites that would jump at it and say, oh, salvation, yes, we out of here right now. But instead of doing that, you got to stop. Here's the point of why I'm doing this lesson. Here's a good example. You got to stop and say, wait a minute. That doesn't make sense. Yahushua is not supposed to be here yet. Yahushua is supposed to come after the MOTB comes out and when the missiles are flying. So what is that going on over there? That cannot be Yahushua. Something else is going on. I may not know exactly what it is, but something isn't adding up. So I'm not going to jump to that conclusion that Yahushua is here and that's him. I'm going to wait a bit because what I know is not adding up to what I'm seeing. So I need to find where's that difference going on. What's the difference here? Because I can't fit a square into a circular hole. So what's going on? Either I'm going into the wrong hole or I'm using the wrong piece. And then when you do that, you have to end up coming to the conclusion that, wait a minute, I know the scriptures are not wrong. So then maybe what I'm seeing isn't really what it is. And then at that point, you realize, oh, so they're trying to deceive us. You see? That's how you got to be able to think and analyze. Use what you know. It doesn't make sense. Ask questions in your head. Why? What? How is this possible? So what's going on here? But guess what? You would have some other individuals. They see the chariot. Oh, that's it. I know the scriptures say that the Karak, forget all that. We out of here. So because you saw something, you threw away everything you knew. You threw away the scriptures. You threw away what the scriptures say, what the Lord says, just because you saw what looked like a chariot. And now you end up getting deceived, whatever the consequences may be for that. So you have to be able to stop, analyze, think, okay? Use your head, use your brain, use your, you know what I'm saying, your analytical skills. Don't just jump at what you see. This time it may have been a video you fell for, but next time the Lord might have it in a more drastic situation. See? So if you find yourself in that situation where you get caught by things like this easily, pray for the Lord to give you a spirit of discernment, a spirit of being able to not just impulsively jump and draw a 100 million conclusions on one thing, but to stop and analyze and see what's really going on here. Because that's really what Esau does that a lot. Whenever we see a situation going on, there's the face value, and then there's the what's behind the scenes, right? So why is it that when Esau does certain things, we don't believe it, we don't trust it? Because even though it may look, Esau may do something, it may look as noble as anything. It may look like he's trying to help you in whatever shape or form, but that's when you stop. You say, no. Regardless of what it looks like, what do I know about Esau? He's the devil. And the devil, the nature of the devil, he ain't never gonna want to do nothing good for you. He's trying to deceive you. So even if it looks like it's good, that's the point of deception. That's when you step back and say, you know what? I'm good. I don't want your medicine. I don't want your food. I don't want none of that. I'm all right. And people may look at you like, bro, what's wrong with you? That's free food. Yo, that's free this. That's free that. Yeah, okay. But you going off of what you're seeing. I'm going off of what I know. I'm analyzing the situation. Yeah, it may be a free food until you eat it and find out that there's poison in it. And then you want to, oh man, I should have known. I should have known. Yeah, you should have known. Maybe you would have known if you stopped and thought. It says here, continuing, 2 Ezra 14 and 18, for now hasteth the vision to come, which thou hast seen. All right, and lastly, I have one more precept here. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 11, verse 7, 8. Right? It says here, Ecclesiasticus, chapter 11, verse 7, blame not before thou hast examined the truth. Understand first, and then rebuke. Answer not before thou hast heard the cause, neither interrupt men in the midst of their talk. And why is this? This is so you can get as much information as you can, and then you can be able to, draw the proper conclusion. When you see a picture and it's not the full picture, you can draw many conclusions about that. But until you see the full picture, will you understand what's really going on? Now, when I was younger, I used to draw a lot, right? I used to love drawing pictures, drawing people, drawing anything, right? And one thing I noticed happened every single time, never failed. Whenever you start drawing a picture, there's always somebody that comes and looks at it at the very beginning, and they just can't figure out what it is. And they're like, what is that? Is that a head? Is that a hand? Is that a toe? Wait, is that this? Is that this? And then as you keep on drawing and more parts of the picture, starts to be put on the paper, then they say, oh, no, that's the ears. Oh, wow. Okay. But before coming to the conclusion that's the ears, they said, is that the toes? Are those the eyeballs? Are those toenails? Is that hair? Is that fungus? Is that feet? Is that a bird? Some of these things that didn't even make sense. But as they got more, they saw more of the picture coming along. They were able, oh, no. Those are the ears. So that means that you're drawing a head right now. Oh, okay, I got you. Because what? There was more information, right? They didn't just say, oh, this is what I think. I see this right now. I don't have the full picture, but I'm gonna just go with it anyway. So let's say that was a guessing game, they would have lost. Right? And as it says here, blame not before thou hast examined the truth. Understand first and then rebuke. Now let's actually look up the word examine. All right. The word examine, it says here, inspect in detail to determine their nature or condition, investigate thoroughly, scrutinize, study, inspect, look into. Right? Now, you may have clicked on the video, I mean, I clicked on it at the end, I'm sure the apostles and other brothers clicked and watched it, and of course, I'm pretty sure the majority of us that, watched it, didn't really. Of course, you had some that, you know what? Let's just put it like this: there were some that clicked on the video thinking that this is really what it was. Some that clicked on it probably thinking, "Wow, yo, the apostles, what? Since when? This is what y'all do now? Oh, y'all going off." And then you had some that clicked on and said, probably laughed at the beginning, probably said, that's not that don't what? Since when? Let me go see. You know, let me find out what's actually going on. So I'm sure you had a lot of different mindsets coming into clicking on the video, right? But even after you've watched the whole video, before leaving a comment, right? Say, where's the video? What's going on here? She saw herself kissing my boob. But yeah, so even before leaving the comments, oh, where's the video? What's going on? Oh, wow. Hey, yeah, yeah. Guess what? You could look at it and say, well, usually, right? Like, look at this video here on the side, right? This is a video. Pastor Tahar put it up. They can't interpret the name Jesus, right? The Hebrew Yahweh correctly. And what does it say? And I'm sure other topics, right? But what you see there is another video on screen where it has vocab Malone on there. So it's likely that whatever he's gonna go into, whatever he's referring to, that's what you're seeing on the screen. So then you say, okay, well, how come he doesn't show the video he's referring to here on the screen? That's a question that should come to your mind. Like, wait, okay, but if they did, right, and it's on a camp video, let's say we go back, right? We go back and we see here, you have here now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe this right here, where it says, this is a sound test. I believe this was from the most recent camp, right? Yeah, 19 hours ago. Yeah, 25th. Yeah, this was the most recent camp video, right? This is the most recent camp video. And the apostle put it up during the sound test, right? So he clicked on it, he put it up, and I haven't seen the sound test, but you can see it right there, right? So somebody should have said, well, if he could put up the camp video, right, do the sound test, and then in this video he says that this happened during camp, well, why wouldn't he put up the camp video at the minute mark where it happened, if it really happened, and speak on it a bit? These are all questions that you think of in your head, and you say, nah, this ain't, you know what I'm saying? There's something going on here. Let me watch and see. Let me step back, watch and find out. Okay, But anyway, that's really the point that I wanted to bring out. All right, which is examine and don't just take everything at face value. I'm not saying go be a skeptic about every single detail in your life, but you have to be able to step back, look at what's going on, look at what you already know, right? Remember the example I gave about the chariot, the fake chariot invasion, that Esau puts up? If in an example, if he did that, you got to be able to you see something, okay, but what you see check out with what you know? Are there some inconsistencies? If there's an inconsistency, you shouldn't be drawing a conclusion right away. If there's an inconsistency, your first thing should be trying to figure out, okay, what something doesn't make sense here. What doesn't make sense, and why doesn't it make sense? Why isn't this? What's going on here? And that way you don't end up, making, like it says here, blaming before you've examined the truth or seen what's actually going on. Okay, so yeah, with that, I'm gonna end it here. Like I said, you can check out the videos that the apostles did. You can watch them. They covered the main point, right, as to why Apostle Tahar did what he did. He also did a video on it. But I wanted to go into this aspect, bring out this point from it, because as I was meditating, that's what came to mind. That you have a lot of Israelites that they're too quick to jump on whatever they see, and instead of stepping back and analyzing what's actually going on, where you can save yourself the trouble and the cause and the cost of whatever it is, and see what's actually going on, you jump right ahead, and you don't want to do that because that could end up being to your detriment in the future. Okay, so with that, Lord willing, you were edified. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakah Kudash. Until next time, Shalom.